Ancient Rome, Section 3, Daily Life of Romans. The rich, the poor, and the slaves. The Roman society was made up of few rich people, many poor people, and slaves. Most citizens had nothing like the luxuries that the wealthy had. There was a huge difference between the lives of rich and poor. A life of luxury. The rich people had elegant homes and country estates called villas. Rich Romans were mostly known for feasts, and often they would serve meat. The life of the poor. Most of the poor people lived in old apartments with no running water, toilets, or kitchens. Human waste had to be carried down or as frequently dumped out of the window. As you can see here, there's two pictures of the first apartment buildings in the ancient world. The Romans built them. Circuses. These are the events that the Colosseum had. In Rome, they had amazing shows, and they were held in the Colosseum or in arenas called circuses. Circuses could be violent. They had animals fighting animals, animals fighting humans, and humans fighting humans. Clowns were also involved in the entertainment, or they might be present during public executions. Overall, watching gladiators was the most entertaining event to watch. Roman family life. The Romans valued family life. The Roman government rewarded families that had a lot of babies. In Roman law, the father had absolute power over the entire house. He owned the house, the wife, the children, and the slaves. In early days, the man could sell their daughter or son to be a slave. Slavery in Rome. In Rome, slavery was common, and every wealthy family owned a slave. Slaves had almost no rights, and they had to help raise the children and provide companionship. Some slaves were able to save tips and wages and buy their freedom. These might be very skilled slaves. Slaves in copper, tin, and iron mines worked in terrible conditions. Slaves that worked on farms were chained together and slept together at night. Key ideas to remember. What was life like in ancient Rome? Rome's social structure consisted of the very rich people, the many poor people, and slaves. Because most people were poor, the Romans kept the poor satisfied by attending the circuses in the Colosseum, where they saw brutal fights between slaves and animals and other forms of clown entertainment. The Romans valued family life, and people were rewarded for having large families. The father had power over all members of the family. Slavery was widespread, and all wealthy Romans had slaves. If a slave was skilled, he or she may buy their freedom through tips.